Alright, a wonderful good morning everybody and welcome back to my channel, Got Shadow here. And today I'm bringing you something really sweet. But before I get into the deck list and what I'm doing here, let's get back a step, a small introduction. So yesterday morning I had a couple of tests at the doctor's and also had an MRT. Don't even know if that's the English word, but so I had a scan of my spine because I had the problems, and when I came back home, I still felt a little fuzzy. So I was like, alright, I'm not gonna play Grixis because that's too demanding in terms of cognitive capacity. So I was like, alright, I have a very good win percentage with Green Red Titan Breach, so I'll just go with that. I then proceeded to a 1-4 league, which really frustrated me. And so I was like, alright, so there are all these YouTubers and all these people on Reddit right now, Pleasant Kenobi especially, are saying that white in every format ever is just really weak and doesn't do anything. Especially life gain being the focal point there, that it's not good enough. And so I was like, alright, let's throw a couple of things together, because white still has a couple of good cards, and play a league with it. Then the first league, I didn't test it. I'll show you in just a second so that you don't, like, I'm telling you the truth here. The first league, I instantly 5-0'd. Then I was like, alright, maybe that's just a statistical error, right? Then the next league I was like 3-2, which of course isn't great. Two very close games against Merfolk, where I just drew dead in the third game, and one against Simic Urza, where I just got comboed out in the third game, but both very close. And then the third league, after that one, I 5-0'd again. So I'm currently with this deck 13-2, which is an insane win percentage, and especially for a list that is not being refined. I switched around like 8 to 10 cards only in the main board from league to league, and the sideboard in addition. So it's possible that on Thursday or Friday, whenever the dump is, I'll be in there with two mono white Stoneblade lists that are basically the same, but also differ in enough cards that I make the list twice. So I'll just, yeah, let's just quickly, before people tell me I'm just shitting them. Alright, so this is, yeah, the last 13 games here. This is 13-2, and these are all here. This was a 1-4 league with Titan, and then I just dropped. Correct? Yeah. Alright, so this is Titan, and then all of these randomly here. Are, right, this one. So all in modern constructed leagues as always. So then and I beat everything. Like, it's not like I got lucky. I was actually with 4 Core Firewalkers in the sideboard. I was actually aiming for burn specifically, because with Titan I played like Mono Red Pros and then burn in 3 consecutive games, and then I was like, okay, fuck this shit. Tilted out as I always do, and then said I'm gonna put 4 Core Firewalkers into the sideboard, and in 15 leagues, 15 games of these 3 leagues, I only played Mono Red once, and that was actually one of the toughest games. And otherwise, I beat everything else, like Urza, Simic Control, Band Control, Infect, Titan Shift without even having a Mind Sensor, although now I think it's pretty good. Yeah, so all kinds of different decks. And as I said, like, I don't think the list is refined yet, but let's head into this. So I wanted to have a lot of Field of Ruin Ghost Quarter interactions, just because I know that I'm the dog here without Leonin Arbiter against especially Tron, but also have a couple of problems against Titan Shift, and so I just have a couple of utility lands. I also think that you could potentially play one or two Blast Zones maybe. There are a couple of options, but I'll refine that as I go along. So then the first big thing here is Giant Killer, a card that, when people say that white doesn't get good cards in the recent set, like this is of a recent set, this is of a recent set, this is 4 of a recent set, this is a 4 of a recent set, and yeah, so it's basically half the deck here, and that was also the objective, to really utilize older and newer cards and combine them to make a good white deck here in Modern. So Giant Killer, let's go over that. Giant Killer on the one hand is a 1/2, so it doesn't die to Rend 6, etc. And is just annoying with its tap target creature ability, which also some white decks struggle with. Sometimes you don't want to remove something with Path to Exile early on, but you also want to get through, like with a Bandage Skull or whatever. And so Giant Killer just taps these nasty creatures. Also if you don't want to defend or whatever. And in the end, like in the late game with mono white, you mostly have excess mana. And so Giant Killer really, really good. Especially though, because of Ranger Captain of Eos, who can fetch Giant Killer, as he can with Giver of Runes, of course. But here you basically have a removal spell on the stick. So whenever you're playing against another creature deck that's going big, like humans or merfolk, well, merfolk is a problem because of the island walk. But whatever, Eldrazi, you always have these 3 mana removal spells that also then become a 1/2 creature that can carry your swords or your Battle Skull and also tap down other stuff. So really, really happy with Giant Killer here. Neat interaction with Ranger Captain. Then of course there's Stoneforge Mystic as the main value engine in the mid game. Before, like there's one 5/0 list where I was playing Charming Prince here instead of Selfless Spirit, and I think that's still alright. But Charming Prince never did what I wanted it to do. Also, especially because I didn't never play against Mono Red, and really bouncing anything here doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I put Charming Prince out again, and Selfless Spirit in, to just protect us from board wipes, and sometimes also like protect the Stoneforge or whatever, which is equipped with whatever. Thalia, just because we need to play her against combo decks, especially Storm, etc. Sometimes they just struggle with a single Thalia on the board, and of course also pretty good first strike ability here with a couple of swords. Then there's Aven Mind Sensor, so I can't be playing Leonin Arbiter because I'm searching my deck too much with all different kinds of things. So Aven Mind Sensor is the next best thing, and also just having a couple of flying options is very important to me. Not only to get some damage through, but also to block against spirits, against infect especially, just want to have something in the air. And then the most important card here in the deck I would say is Force of Virtue. A card that I already utilized in spirits to some success. And here Force of Virtue is just basically a removal spell most of the time. Like when you're playing against aggressive decks, they will attack you into your Giant Killer, Give of Wounds, whatever, because they need to put you under pressure, and then you just play a Force of Virtue, get an early kill against whatever, a Swift Spear, or could be anything basically. And in all of the games where against control and whatever, just having Force of Virtue on the battlefield and having, Giant Killer be a 2/3 that's more or less difficult to deal with, and your opponent needs to remove basically all of your creatures because everything's bigger than a Snapcaster Mage, and yeah. So that's overall the deck tag. Then let's get to the sideboard here real quick. So I was last night before I actually went to bed, I was thinking about getting on Backblade, and it's probably a good addition here, but I'm not yet there where I'm sure on the numbers, because I definitely want to be playing for 8 Mind Sensors, so I'm gonna put this one to the sideboard first. Then Cataclysmic Gearhulk is probably where I want to be here in terms of removal spell, and then there is Crusader, a card that I also played in both 5 lists, I think, in the sideboard. Actually, let's play one more here. Yeah, I think this is fine. Alright, this is the deck tech. Now let's jump into League in just a second. Alright, welcome back to the first round here. Now playing with 6 trophies. And I made some last minute changes here before I started the league. I actually wanted to try Remorseful Cleric in the sideboard and Kataki. That might weaken us in those specific matchups, but I was just gonna see, because Kataki, because the swords and skull, and I don't necessarily want to stifle myself completely. Yeah, it's a reasonable keep here. Although a little bit too indiverse. Oh man, I'm not really there yet today. Giant Killer. Alright, so this burn, let's see, game 1 should be quite difficult here without the Thalia in the main board. Well, not in the main board, but in hand. Let's get a better skull. So he's inclined to kill the Stoneforge. If he doesn't kill her directly, like he started off with a Sunbaked Canyon, which means he either has another Sunbaked Canyon or he's only playing a 1-lander here. Yeah, he's attacking. So I'm gonna block and then play Force of Virtue with a Giant Killer. I'm not gonna go with the Stoneforge because I expect him to bolt the Stoneforge in response. And then I want to have another follow-up Stoneforge. Yep. But still, we basically save 5 life here in that instance, so that's pretty neat. What the fuck? No. Just want to play this one. Right, doesn't look like our opponent has found another land here. And if he hasn't, then he might not be able to attack. Unless he has another bolt, I think. Oh, he does have another land, alright. Searing Blaze would be really bad for us, of course. Yeah, I'm still blocking. Alright. I think you should have given your thing indestructible instead of double strike, but okay. So if I play the Even Mind Sensor now, does that make sense? Yeah, probably, right? Because then I don't have to wait for him, like we're not playing this game of, alright, you fetch, I fetch, you fetch, I fetch, you know. Oh, two Goblin Guides. Alright, I think I'm gonna take the damage here this time around, especially what is revealed. Another Even Mind Sensor. Hmm. Well, with another Even Mind Sensor common, I think I actually could block one here. We could also start racing at some point, I think. Because he's actually, like, with all the Sunbay Canyons there, things aren't too great for him as well. And now I'm trying to get the Giant Killer down, plus... Grim Lava Mats actually is pretty good. So with the Grim Lava Mancer in play, I think I'm also gonna block the other Goblin Guide here. Selfless Spirit. Right. Yeah. Kinda a little unlucky here with the distribution of our lands. Because otherwise, I could have gotten the Ranger Captain down already and potentially a Give of Runes. And of course, if we had just drawn two lands, then Better Skull would have already been GG's here. But let's see. Mm-hmm. Probably a School of the Critics here. Okay. Kinda unhappy with all the Mind Sensors and no other lands slash creatures. Alright. So apparently our opponent decided to go for a head first here. And that is potentially, of course, good. Like if he has, I don't know, land here and a Boros Charm, then we're probably dead. But otherwise, Like he's taking, like we have potential lethal here as well. It all depends on what and how he does here. Alright, so yeah, cool. So Ave Mind Sensor, you're gonna go. Cool, Firewalker is coming in. And I think everything else can remain there. I think we could be talking about a Mirroring Crusader as well. Yeah, let's put in 2 Mirroring Crusader. They die to most stuff, of course, but they're really good on the ground, so I think that's alright. And I'm gonna cut Giant Killer here, plus the Sword of Feast and Famine. Yep. And now with 4 core Firewalkers, of course, and our opponent having to board against better skulls, I guess, we're mostly trying to just find the core Firewalker here early on. Most of the time, these burn decks run like 2 to 3 basics. An early Path to Exile is, of course, really bad, but could also, of course, also be considering a Remorseful Cleric here, because the Grim Lava Manta is kind of a boon. Alright. Yep, we got everything that we want to have here. Riftbolt, no turn 1 creature, alright. So our opponent might have decided then on the ground he's not winning this game. Which partially is true, on the other hand though, without creatures your repetitive damage of course is decreased by a lot. Mm-hmm. How do you handle this? So we're gonna ditch a Stoneforge here. And then just go with a Ranger Captain. He did have a path. That sucks. That sucks, of course. So our position is not as commanding as I hoped it to be here, but still also not bad. And since we can already cast the Better Skull next turn by natural means, I'm just gonna go with some power on the battlefield here, because now he has to deal with 6 damage turn. Plus we can actually protect stuff with the Give Up Runes. But this is probably gonna be a Searing Blaze, I guess. Eidolon. Yeah, sure. Don't mind. Ooh. Alright, let's go with the Batter Skull first. And, do I want to protect something with my Give Up Runes? Yeah. Let's just see. Like, because of course a braid and stuff, that's what we're thinking about, but he could also have a second path to get rid of the Batter Skull there. But apparently not. Mm-hmm. Alright, GG's. Off to round number 2. Alright, welcome back here to another round of Grixis. Not Grixis, lol. Alright, so I actually, at night, when I woke up at 4 o'clock and played that one game, I went back to sleep. I'm not sure if this is strong enough. It depends on the matchup, I guess. But we're on the draw, we have pretty decent mana. Here, the Giant Killer could come in handy. Alright, now Drowsytron, no play here. Actually, potentially I should have played the Giant Killer here already. But, I think I want to have the Force out, and I'm gonna exile the Avon Might Sensor here, because it's pretty weak both against a Walking Ballista, but also in general. So if he doesn't take the Giant Killer, then we're just gonna kill the Thornotsia here, I think. Ranger Captain, of course, is also just big enough with the Force of Virtue out to block the Thornotsia. And now we're just getting more Giant Killers. More? Okay. Okay. I mean, I'm fine with that. Yeah, we're a little bit clunky here, but I think I can attack here. Because apparently he doesn't want to attack into the Ranger Captain, so I get a free attack, play the other Ranger Captain, hope that he doesn't have a Dismember. And then next turn, hopefully with like a land or two. So currently it's 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. At 7 mana I might be concerned about an Aulus Dust, especially because he didn't have any place for the first couple of turns. So I'm gonna try to get Give of Runes down. Yeah, land would be really, really great. Then we could play Giant Killer and give up runes. Yep. Yep. So I'm gonna take one attack again, and then play Giver and Stoneforge. So now I'm actually inclined to sacrifice a Ranger Captain, but if we do, I think we also don't win. So yeah, I'm gonna test it out here. If he had an All Stars, that would probably be a slam dunk here. And nothing to think about a whole lot. Mm-hmm. And bring up. Alright, we could of course be playing the better skull. Could have also go after the Eldrazi Temple, but the Endbringer is bigger than our stuff, so I think the play is chop, chop, chop. And play the Giant Killer as well. And then we're gonna attack with both Ranger Captains. Try to stay alive one more turn. Yeah, it's kind of weird. So block, block. Something's fishy here. Feel it in my bones. I'm gonna sacrifice a Ranger Captain this turn. Because as long as Give of Runes stays alive, we are good with the other Ranger Captain here. We can block here, and a single Walking Ballista shouldn't kill us. And I'm gonna protect the Giant Killer here. Because it can also tap down something. Alright. Alright, so sword not so good. The Cataclysmic Gearhulks are actually pretty nice. Kataki, well, I could see, but Giant Killers are just crazy good here. Selfless Spirit, even Mind Sensor are actually not great. So I'm gonna cut 2 of those and get a couple of Katakis in. Yeah. Yep. Okay, we have a pretty decent curve here. Also good that we can block the Matter Reshaper here without actually killing it, or having to kill it. Okay. That was awkward. Alright. Easy game 2. Off to round number 3. Alright, welcome back here to round number 3. Up until now we are not dropping the ball in any formal way. And in comparison to other weenie strategies or, creature strategies, this one's actually fun because you have so much stuff to do. Like, also instant speed interaction, like you get to dig up giant killers, give off runes, just a whole lot of fun here. We would like to play first, and we're definitely gonna keep this. Oh, could be Infect. Could of course also be Amulet Titan. In either case, I hope Thalia is gonna be. It's Amulet Titan. Then we have to really lean on Field of Ruin. Sakura Tribe Scout. Alright, so I'm gonna go with a. So Gemstone Mine means that Sakura Tribe Scout is just really annoying. So next turn we have Field of Ruin. Should we just get rid of the Tribe Scout. We still have Giant Killer for a potential Titan. But then we would have to do it now so that if he does have an Azusa, then he can definitely play her. They also play Field of the Dead now, so I don't think they play more than 2 or 3 basics. So the third, like after the path, the third Field of Ruin should definitely hit its target and strip him. Let's attack for 1 first, because that is free, basically. So of course Thalia would be the obvious play here, but if we play Thalia, then we can't go next turn Field of Ruin and Path, so I think, and I'm now covering my tracks here with Field of Ruin. If he's playing Azusa, then we probably have to go with Field, otherwise I can potentially go with Thalia. Cognac Garden. Yeah, certainly good pick up there. Oh no, another one. And another forest. And another one. Okay. Okay. Well, we don't have a target to hit yet anyway, so I guess this is gonna be it. Now we can only hope that he does not have an Amulet of Vigor as well. Alright, never mind. Yeah, because we could be dead here. Could simply be dead. Oh. No, the other 2 cards in hand are all lands. So... oh, this is also pretty good. So I guess we're attacking with a Thalia here, because that is basically for free, especially with the Give of Runes backup. Oh. And then so even Mind Sensor, I definitely want to get down this turn. Of course, we could catch something and someone here, but just waiting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, with the triggers on the stack, we can of course also just Field of Ruin, so you shouldn't be able to get a Titan down. Alright, so now it counts. Yeah, hopefully, yeah, alright. I was gonna say it didn't find a... So I want to maintain the ability to activate the fields here at any point in time. And since you can bounce all of these lands here, if I'm activating something, then yeah, it's actually not so great here with the fields if he has more than 1 bounce land. Actually not that great. Even Mind Sensor should be problematic though. Okay. Let's see what you find. Sakura Tribe Scout. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Okay. One, two, three. We can still activate both. So, just gonna go with another Mind Sensor here. Another Giant Killer. So that we just get rid of the Titans. And at this point, I think, whoops, I think I'm also attacking with Athalia and just make her unblockable from green. Because we have a removal spell for a Titan, and next turn we have lethal. Yep. And he doesn't know about the Giant Killers yet, which is also important. Alright. Let's see. He's definitely gonna bring in removal because he needs to. I feel like we can probably cut one or two paths. Not 100% sure about that though. Mirroring Crusader seems pretty legit as well. Although it's pretty expensive. But they are also playing Field of the Dead, so yeah. So that one's gonna stay, and probably like, so one Thalia enough, one Give of Runes. Yep. Hello. Alright. Well, I guess we have a Ghost Quarter and a Path, so that's fine. We still don't know how many basics he's playing, but he had 3 in play, I think, right? No way. Scout again. Yeah, I think I have to. So, Ranger Captain gets us the Giant Killer. I think I'm still gonna go after the Tribe Scout here. The good thing about Thalia in this matchup is that now that they're playing Once Upon a Time as well, that becomes really expensive. So we somehow need to make it to turn 4. It's Azusa again. Nah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go with that and hope that he doesn't have an untapped land here. Because we at least need one more turn to set things up. Alright, yeah. Once upon a time, at 3 mana, of course, pretty awkward. Semi-growth chamber. So Ranger Captain can of course help us here in theory, but I think I want to get the Mind Sensor down. And then go Ghost Quarter him next turn. It's very likely that he has a Titan here, but it's also possible that he's just gonna go with a Summoner's Pact. Oh. Alright, so that's coming down. Alright, gotta kill the field there. Because that's actually pretty annoying. Sano might have been actually the better the better one here. Oko. Oko is annoying, of course, as well. Yeah. That's, of course, something that I did not play around. That could become problematic. Now, depending on what he fetches up, I could go double block him here. Yeah, and I think I'm going to do that because the Mirroring Crusade, of course, isn't going to die. We take not a whole lot of damage, and it will just buy us a little bit of time here. And also, Mirroring Crusader is a good foil to Oko, of course, because you can't do anything about that. Yeah, only took a little bit of damage here. But now, of course, we need to do something. Did I bore out? No, I didn't. So it didn't bore out both of our swords. So might want to go with whoa. Maybe I might want to go with Force of Virtue instead. Fuck. Got a couple of good options here. So if we attack him directly, I mean, what's Oka gonna do, right? Could go after Stoneforge Mystic, but nothing else. So if he doesn't block, then we hit for 9, and then next turn he's just dead. And he doesn't have haste yet, and without a whoops, no, not Siri, thanks. Without an Amulet of Vigor, he also won't have haste next turn right away. We could also play the Ranger Captain of Eos. Yeah, I think I'm attacking him with both for 6, for 7, and then next turn it's gonna be 9 with the Ranger Captain in play. Alternatively, we could also just, if he transmutes the Tolaria West, I think I'm gonna go and sacrifice the Ranger Captain so that he doesn't get a Titan. Okay. Just give our runes straight up better here. We already have something with protection, but forcing another one through is probably just better anyway. So this way, yeah, let's see. If he transmutes, I'm definitely going to go with the Ranger Captain here. And sack that. And then we can force a version next turn. Because now he also can't play an Engineered Explosives should he choose to dig that up. The only thing that I'm really worried about here would be a Walking Ballista. But if he commits to Walking Ballista, then Force of Virtue is probably going to get him. Because this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so for 4. Now I'm just gonna go Force of Virtue here in response. makes things a little more difficult. And this also tells me that he probably doesn't have a Titan. In hand, but we still need to draw something here, of course. It was pretty costly to get rid of the Stoneforge there, but the Walking Ballista here is just going to dominate the battlefield, especially with more than 10 mana to pump, so it's going to get 3 counters a turn. Okay. Problem is also that Oko can just take the Give of Runes here next turn. Maybe I should have attacked the Oko here. Yeah, Oko is gonna exchange a Giver for a food token here. We're in response, of course, gonna give the other Giver protection from Colorless. Slayer Stronghold as well. Oh, actually, it can't, right? If I give the other Giver. Yeah, now we really need to find a remove spell. Just choosing to kill things. Well, then I'm gonna go and protect the other Giver of Runes from green, so that he cannot do anything with that, and then we can attack next turn potentially. I guess now we have to redirect both at Oko. So that would be 8, but he just generates blockers here, so. It's pretty obvious that I have another Force of Virtue here in hand. Truth be told. Or not. The good thing about this also is that it's going to be more difficult for our opponent now to pump the walking ballista to a reasonable degree to kill our stuff, because he can only currently put 3 counters on them per turn. Yep. If we were to draw a giant killer or another path here, that would just be great. Azusa is annoying. Definitely annoying. Huh. And also found an amulet bigger. Let's see, if the last land here in hand is a bounce land, then you can potentially pump the walking ballista for more than 4 a turn. And that indeed is a problem. This, on the other hand, is not a really big deal. So if we wanted to, we could of course force 6 damage through here. But I think I'm just gonna attack the Oko with... Actually, do I care about the Oko anymore? Yeah, I have to because of blockers. Or do I? As long as we have the give of runes, we don't care, right? So fuck Oko, and he also can't switch with artifacts anymore, because at that point it's gonna be a interesting block. Oh yeah, he's gonna kill it, sure. Makes sense. He probably has to do something here. It's a little sad that we haven't drawn any real cards here for quite a while. I mean, the Force of Virtues haven't been bad, but like creatures would have been great. Well, let's see. Got another blocker there. Yeah, we're just keeping attacking here. He has to block anyway. And what am I gonna get rid of? The Sunhome, which grants double strike. Probably this one, right? Vigilance and haste. Seems more threatening. Yeah, alright, we're dead now. Okay. So, another Mirror Crusader. Giva actually isn't great here. It's alright, but it's not great. Could of course also go with Kataki, but and Better Skull probably also isn't key. Alright. Yeah, I guess. Then we already have a sword. I think we have to go with Athalia here. That really makes our forces awkward, but I need to slow him down as long as we can. So we're hoping to draw another land next turn. And then just go now we really have to be careful. The Castle Garenbrick here has the potential to be our demise, but I don't think I have a good option here. Like if he has a Titan in hand already, then that's just gonna be it. Because of course, in response to a Ghost Quarter, he could have activated the other Sakura Tribe Scout. Yeah. Looks to be a Titan. Has it all here. Yep. Yep. Probably getting Field of the Dead, I guess. And potentially a Telaria list. So I don't really care about the Field of the Dead. As long as I get another land here. Shit. Fuck. Because I really need to get the sword down and equip it with Athalia. He has another one in hand. Welcome, Melissa. Lol. Alright, yeah, that was a pretty good draw here by our opponent. No, we can't win that. Alright, welcome back here to another round of Modern where we are on the play and we keep. Because we have a Giver of Runes to protect our Stoneforge, then a turn 2 Stoneforge, and potentially a turn 3 Better Skull. Well, Greentron. That is a problem. So we could be trying to raise here with potentially a sword, but that will also block our mana for at least 2 turns. So I think I'm still going to go with a Better Skull here. And then see where it takes us. Better Skull. We have Mind Sensors and we have a lot of Ghost Quarters slash Field of Ruins, so just need to find some of those and we might be good here. And our opponent apparently needs a little bit longer to assemble his stuff. So I think I'm gonna go with a Forest of Virtue here and ditch the Ranger Cap because we need path for a potential Worm Coil. And I want to get as much damage in as possible. Plus Give of Runes. They can protect each other from Walking Bliss, etc. So, yeah. Come on, give me a land. And of course, Better Skull is then a 5/5, which is also pretty great. Force of Virtue, by the way, a good card, especially also against Oko, because your own tokens or elks are always going to be bigger than your opponents, which is awesome. Alright, Selfless Spirit's not the worst, I guess. So we're getting in for 2, and then playing the Better Skull, and then next turn, the Selfless Spirit, because we'll get another turn here. And also an Oblivion Stone should not be enough then at that point to stop us. Alright, found the tower, so there's... Actually, an Ugin would probably be the worst thing here for us. At turn 4 Ugin. Ooh, 1 turn late, although... Yeah, I'm also gonna attack with the Give of Runes because, as I said, like the only card that's really problematic here is Ugin. And from that one we probably also can't recover. Yeah, Wormcoil is not a problem. I should also know that, like, even without a path here, we could give off runes or the better skull. And then that is GG as well. Yeah, all of that is too late, friend. Alright, we're just gonna path it. Okay. So, don't really want to change a whole lot. The only card that I could see here is Kataki. Kataki War's Wage, because that in between like taxes him a little. Probably better than a Giant Killer here. Although Giant Killer, you know, it's also not the worst. But overall, we just need to have a Field of Ruin, Ghost Quarter, and a Mind Sensor. Well, one of the three, and both of our Giant Killers. My goodness. Alright, keep. And we're ditching this. Actually, are we? Undo. No, we're ditching that and... Right? Because we want our give off runes to protect the Mind Sensor, of course. Ranger Captain is strong, but is it strong enough to... So our opponent didn't mulligan. So I hope that he does not have turn 3 Tron. I think for the regame here, I'm just gonna take out the Giant Killer completely. Really don't want to have it in this matchup. Come on. No Tron land. Need a little bit of support here to get there. Expedition map. That's actually quite fun, because if he doesn't instantaneously use it next turn, but he probably will. Yeah, we're just playing the Giant Killer here. Yep. So we're definitely going after the power plant. And then play the other Give of Runes here, I guess. We could of course also just go with a Mind Sensor, but that's risky. Like, he could also just draw into something here. Or already have drawn into something that we don't know. Yep. Exactly as I thought. Karn. Basically has to tick up though. Okay. Walking Ballista could be a potential card here that he wants to fetch. Everything else I don't really see. Well, Oblivion Stone is also pretty good. Give you that. Give you that. So how do we best do this here? Oblivion Stone is insanely annoying. Also that he had one in the sideboard still. Could of course just go with the Stoneforge here. And because he won't be able to crack the Oblivion Stone this turn, might be just yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with the Stoneforge and trade off here. And then probably still go. I want to go with a Batterskull with the Sword of Fire and Ice. Probably want to go with the sword. Like just to get a little bit of card advantage and also to shorten our clock if possible. Alright, sacked him. I could have committed there with the Kataki, but I'm not sure if that's all too helpful. Another Oblivion Stone, alright. It's getting nasty here. It is getting nasty. Alright. So we're going Kataki, then a Mind Sensor in his end step, and then just equip the sword, get in for never mind. So I could of course in response save Mind Sender here. But I don't think that it's getting us anywhere. Actually, do I want to show our opponent that we have an even Mind Sensor? Does he already know about that? No, I don't think so, right? So we're just gonna give this one up. I don't really have a whole lot else in our sideboard here. Kataki over Giant Killer and go for it. Okay. somewhat better. So I'm gonna go with a Thalia here. Although Kataki would also be alright, I guess, but he shouldn't be able to go cast a Surge Spell there on his turn, and then we go... Like, he potentially sets up another Chromatic Star or whatever to get it out of his hand. That's good. Dismember. Which member? Dismember. Alright. Alright, yeah, this time around we probably need to go with a Mind Center. It's just too juicy here to pass up on. Although, of course, I also would like to have the Ranger Captain, but I think that's the play here. Oh, fuck my life. So we're going after the USS Mine here. ASAP. And then play. Let's hope that he doesn't find a basic in the top 4 cards. And then we're playing Kataki and give off runes, I think. Because then he still has to pay for the Oblivion Stone. Or do we need to get our expensive cards out of our hand? No, I think that's good enough here. We're attacking for 5. He's gonna have problems to maintain that Oblivion Stone there. And we still should be able to keep him off of Tron for a couple of turns. Alright, Forest. And that's actually pretty good. I'm not gonna attack with the Giver of Runes, I think. Because clockwise it shouldn't change a whole lot, and he could have another Dismember. Yeah, and then I'm gonna play the Ranger Captain this turn, because he's never gonna get something out next turn that is relevant, and then fetch another Giver of Runes, and then we just Ghost Quarter him next turn, and should be able to lock him out with the Ranger Captain. The turn after that. I kinda like Kataki. It's so annoying. And Kataki is somewhat better against Urza decks than and Oko as well. Alright, another mine. So we're attacking with everything but the Give of Runes. Then make the Ghost Quarter activation, then in his turn activate Ranger Captain. Or we just finish the job right now. One, two, like 3. 6, 10. That's already it. So, unless he has a Nature's Claim here, which of course he could have. Alright, GG's. Alright, welcome back here to the last round of Modern. And we're playing against Dido Guidotti, a renowned Grixis Death Shadow player, or Death Shadow player in general. I think the hand's alright, especially with Athalia's, should make everything he does pretty expensive. And then Ranger Captain, as always, can fetch a Giant Killer, which of course in this matchup is pretty great. We need a little bit of land help though. Also, Mishra's baubles thankfully become a little bit more expensive than they are right now. Yeah, Ranger Captain is pretty good here, pretty good. Gonna give you that. I'm actually not gonna attack. Let's dismember. Sure. Come on, give me a land here. Really need one. Alright. So we're going Thalia. Could of course also go with a Mind Sensor, since he apparently doesn't have another removal spell here. Otherwise he would have probably just gone with a Death Shadow. So I think the Field of Ruin right now is just a strip mine, straight up. But I also think that I'm gonna keep being defensively here. As long as he doesn't have any red mana. I'm not scared of something like and he's definitely keeping a spell pierce up there, Stubborn Denial. Yeah. So we can take a hit over that Death Shadow. And then they have Mind Sensor plus Thalia are potentially lethal if we can get around the path. Because if he plays a Gomag Angler now, then he doesn't have Stubborn Denial up anymore through a Thalia. Yep, cool. Cool. So Mirror Crusader is pretty good, although it's not so good against. So let's see. I probably don't want to have any of these. On the one hand, they're too small. On the other hand, it's just too difficult to keep things alive. So I'm gonna go with 3 Mirror Crusaders, 3 Remorseful Clerics, and maybe just a sword by itself, but we're on the draw, so I don't really like that option, so I'm just gonna go with the Coalfire Walker. It's not great here, but it's a 2-drop, it's fine. Also playing Once Upon a Time, which makes me think that either he's just splashing like with one Shockland or whatever, or he's not Grixis but Sultai entirely. Yep, makes sense. Good top deck here, especially to keep Thalia alive. Alright. Brutality, sure. Alright, so now it's interesting that with Athalia on the battlefield, he's probably not going to go for a Thoughtseize or Inquisition here, I guess. And first wants to get rid of the Thalia. Yep. That's what I thought. So we get the Mirror Crusader down, and he probably doesn't have anything. Like, I guess he's playing Oko as well. And since he's on Sultai entirely here, so he wasn't shocking the breeding pool, so he might not have a threat yet, and with the Mirror Crusader on the battlefield and no ability, yeah. Alright, GG's. So another 4-1, that means right now we are, whoops, game history. We are 17-3, yeah, 17-3, which is pretty good. So I hope you enjoyed the league. Overall, I was pretty happy. I probably thought even Mind Sensors is a little bit too much. Want to have a little bit more substance here. Could be two charming princes. Could also be the other Thalia. Can't find her right now. But overall, pretty happy with that. Then the mana base was also fine. Definitely want to keep 8 of these. Selfless Spirit could also be a charming prince, as I said. But yeah, so it's not really defined yet. I mean, it was the 4th league that I played, and I'm switching up a lot, but it's getting there, and it's working out great. So if you want to try Mono White and a powerful engine at that here, then give this deck a try. Hope you enjoyed the league, and have a great week, guys.